know
I
the
am.
order?
I am.
Okay. So that's
So we are going
10.
live now already.
Oh, we've gone live. Just
So I think only Samira is going to be presenting because Dr. Morayo is under the weather and CJ is having a concurrent meeting at this time.
okay.
He has sent me a message.
Okay. So it's just Samira, which is chapter 10. Okay. Lucky enough, chapter 10 is the next chapter. So from where we stopped yesterday. Okay. We'll just do chapter 10 and maybe do some adjustments for next week to continue from where we stopped. So that, sorry?
I said I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I'm not prepared myself to even present any of the other chapters, and I don't want us to just run through it. Okay, so we'll just make a quick start. Not to, in as much as we don't have all presenters, we'll just do with what we have, and we'll continue from the next week. Okay, so I believe David says we are live already. So I'll just like to welcome every one of us to another live session of our book review. Currently reviewing the book Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard P. Rumelt, sorry, who is a professor of strategy in the UCLA University back in the United States. And we have gone all through chapters 1 to 9 before this time. Currently, we have in the house none other than Coach Samira Miko to lead us through chapter 10 of this book. And we look forward to a great presentation. So Samira, I'll just pass the mic over to you, and you have the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Twain. Thank you for having me. I really apologize about the video issue. It's a technical issue. So welcome to the boardroom. My name is Samira Miko. I'm a personal development coach, amongst other things. So I'll start. And today I'm taking us through chapter 10, which is titled Focus, from the book Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. If you have been following us and if you were with us yesterday, you would have gained a lot of insight into how strategies are made. So yesterday there was something that was said in the boardroom about a strategy not being a goal. It is, how do I say, it is the action we take to realize the results. I don't know, Mr. Toy, am I getting it correctly? I remember yesterday that was one of my takeaways.
That's correct, yes.
Yes, so today we're going to be discussing focus. So if you can see on the screen, I'm pointing somewhere. I know you can see my face, so I'm trying to show focus. So chapter 10 is talking about how you focus to make a strategy. He started the chapter with a story about Brown and Cock. How do I navigate this?
Please, can you share full slides of your... Hello, Samira Miko. Please, can you share your presentation in a slide mode?
Okay. Let me switch it to a slide. All right. Is this fine?
Yes, that works well.
Okay. All right. So chapter 10 talks about focus. So there's a quote here which I picked, which says where focus goes, energy flows. And if you don't take the time to focus on what matters, then you're living a life of someone else's design. So applying this to business, in the book, they dive into the core concepts of making strategies, which talked about the importance of focus and clarity and adaptability in formulating strategies. So in business, if you don't focus, definitely you're making your strategies, speaking, going around following the trends, you're definitely going to get the result of what you're doing. So chapter 10 talks about clarity in making strategies. Clarity, it makes you effective in decision making. It makes you effective in execution your strategy. Other organizations risk confusion when they do not have clarity, when you don't know where you're heading to. And then there's confusion within your team. There's no alignment. They don't know what they're doing, because if you keep following trends, any trend that comes along, you don't have a clear direction, you don't have clarity on what your company is and what you want to do, how you want to do it, then there's definitely going to be confusion, and the results would always result in where you're putting your energy to, where you're putting your focus to. So you have to understand the risk of bad strategy. Earlier in the chapters highlighted, we talked about bad strategy, and it was highlighted. So you need to have SMART goals, and you need to have clarity and focus, so that you will be able to maximize the use of your resources. You'll be able to maximize opportunities that come to you as a company, and you'll be able to have effective leadership that will address issues that come forward. So here in focus, we talked about the essence of focus in what we're doing. In the book, while he was teaching the students, he actually gave them a case study of a company, Crown and Cork, and they were supposed to find out the strategy behind it, the company. So what he says is strategy is not, some companies don't even know the strategy they are using unless they have a clear focus. Strategy is not your mission statement. Strategy is not your vision statement. It is where you're heading to as a company that will direct if your focus is where you're heading to as a company. So later on in the next chapter, I'm going to talk about companies and their areas of focus, so that I'll be able to get it here. I want to talk about the essence of focus for making strategies. So one is concentration of effort. That means you know what you're working on, where you need to concentrate on. The essence of focus is choosing what not to do. The common pitfalls we get are spreading too thin, meaning if you don't have a concentration, you're all over the place. You're trying this, trying that. Vague ambitions. You do not have a solid ambition. You do not have a solid goal, a solid plan. We know how the dog's dinner is, right? So that is how your strategy is going to be. One of the benefits of having focus as an organization is synergistic action, which is the alignment of all your teams, all your team members to achieve a particular goal, to use a particular strategy. Everyone will work together. When there is focus, we all know where we are heading to. Amplified impact. The impact spreads across and it's in much bigger. We know when we amplify our voices or how it gets, how it sounds. So the impact will be greater. Clear decision making, because you have focus, you know what you're dealing with, you know what you want to achieve, then you know the kind of decisions you want to make. Having focus makes you use your resources efficiently and effectively. There's no mismanagement of resources. So here we're going to talk about companies that succeed using prioritization, that is focus, and then successes that are tied to resisting distraction, because the opposite of focus is definitely distraction. So companies that are applying focus and how they do that. The first one is Tesla. We all know Tesla and Elon Musk and his high achievers. So Tesla is maintaining its focus by vertically integrating key components, and they're also limiting their production to a particular line early to avoid overextension. So what they do is they zeroed on high performance and electric vehicles. High performance electric vehicles. So out of the electric vehicles markets, they have, excuse me, sorry. Sorry about that. So out of the electric markets, vehicles, what they focus in is high performance. And then they do not have a wide range. So earlier in the production line, what they did is they limited it to a particular models, the Roadster, the Model S, and the Model 3. They did that to avoid overextension, so that they would focus on the performance of this particular batch. And then one of their focus points is innovation, and then their battery technology. And then they are a premium brand. That's what they focus on. So their focus is, okay, we're not covering the whole market, but we're to target, these are our targets. And we can see the advantage of that. So the next company we look at is the Apple. And the Apple strategy revolves around site product curation. So they are focused on user experience and design simplicity, which we'll see on their phones, their tablets, their designs. So what they do is they've crafted and integrated the hardware and software services. So they know what they're heading for in the market. All their strategies are focused on this user experience, design simplicity. Tesla is focused on high performance electric vehicles. The next company is Netflix. So Netflix is focused on data-driven personalized content. Instead of chasing trends, what they do is Netflix, once you open your homepage, you go there and then you see the content coming up is based on what you have been watching, your interest, your likes. They always, I don't know, for me, like they always have a way of coming up with content that I'm actually interested in. I don't know if there's anybody that's had that experience. So that has been one of the focus that has made them stand out. So when people were renting DVDs and all that, Netflix let go of that shutdown and focused on working on this. And we all can see the result of where Netflix is right now. So they also use the strategy of original content. There's some content on Netflix that are only on Netflix. You can't get them anywhere. And they're also, those content are also tailored to user preferences. It's not all the content that you see. And this keeps the engagement high. It keeps you on the app. So some are some of the steps to get an effective strategy. So when you know your challenge, you define your challenge. That is first by identifying it. And then what are the key issues your organization faces? You sit down, gather data, understand your situation, what is happening, and how it is affecting your current strategy. Is it a good strategy to get you to your focus area, if you have a focus, or when you apply it, is it a bad strategy? How is you develop clear options? You have to have alternatives that will address all the challenges ahead. You choose the most effective base strategy. Usually that's why we have plan A, B, and C. And then there's something I want to say. Usually in BRG, Business Readers Global, we used to take one chapter a day, and it takes us a while to finish the books. And then when we have a break, but this time around, with good strategy, bad strategy, we came with a good strategy, which is having at least 3 chapters a day and covering more of our book, and getting us to limit, to limit the amount of time we spend, or should I say now we are effectively using our time and our resources, because we're able to cover our books in a limited time period, and we'll be able to achieve the goal of reading all our books for the year. Okay, so a clear strategy is crucial for success, because it's going to drive you to the direction, and it's going to align with your resources, and it helps you navigate challenges, and you get to focus on key priorities to be able to achieve sustainable growth, not just any growth, but sustainable growth, and to stay ahead in a competitive landscape. So thank you for having me. This is the little I got from 10, which is focus, and which is a very small chapter, by the way. It was just a story about Fran Hancock and how they were able to go ahead with their strategies. Mr. Trade, over to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Coach Samira, for that clear and concise presentation. Here we're talking about clarity. Although the chapter, is hinged on focus, but of course, what does focus help us to achieve? It is clarity, clarity of our objectives within a strategy. And so, you've done well in, giving us those nuggets and, the key points in this chapter. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'd say I love the slides. They were really calming and soothing. I love the color, the choice of color, and the way you just, presented it. Thank you so much, Coach Samira. I appreciate your efforts. Unfortunately, we couldn't have the other 2 presenters in the house today, but like I said, it will be pushed to sometime next week for us to go through those chapters. I would readjust as scheduled, just slightly. I'll take the opportunity to welcome, I think I can see Lady Saratu back in the house. Thank you so much. We're still really in your wonderful presentation from yesterday. Thank you so much for finding time to come back today. And Lady Ovosa, we cannot miss you. Thank you so much for always taking time out of your busy schedule to come down to support us. Thank you so much. I think those are the two people I haven't mentioned on the call. Yeah, so before I throw it open to the rest of the house, in our usual manner, tradition, let's give Lady or Coach Samira flowers. Did David just disappear from the call? I think so. I hope we are still live. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so let's give Coach Samira flowers for a good presentation. Well done. Well done. Sorry, let me just put mine in there. I don't know. I only have this one type of flower, sunflower. I don't know where everybody else gets the other types of flowers from.
Look for the snake.
Okay, I can see a lot of comments already in the chat box for you, Samira. Kudos, brilliant presentation, Samira. You know, and whilst you were speaking, I guess that came in. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so in a nutshell, I would say, you know, focus acts as a lens, you know, that sharpens an organization's strategy. So it is that amplifier, it is that enabler, right? It is what helps you to put things into perspective. Like you mentioned rightly about Tesla, you know, they have rightly focused on a particular niche area in car manufacturing, to the extent that they became category kings, to the extent that, you know, every other person had to learn from them, and they became industry leaders. You know, they positioned themselves in the market positioning that they got, the advantage that they got from doing that, you know, cannot be overemphasized. So very important for us to understand what focus does, the clarity that it brings when we embark in any strategic planning or any strategic decision making. It is very important that we know, you know, I think it says that focus helps us. I think what you, in your slide, one of the first slide pages, you said focus helps us know what not to do, basically. So it's very important that, you know, we know the things that we should not be pursuing, that the things that are, you know, and you talk about also the dog dinner in terms of the dog's dinner, rather, in terms of, you know, when we do not have that clarity. No, sorry, there was I'm trying to remember how.
You want me to share it?
Yes, because I was interested in that very point. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. If you can just quickly share it. Yes, it should be, yeah, that one.
This one, right?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. The common pitfalls. Thank you. That was what I was looking for. So when we look at it, we said when we spread too thin, and when we have vague ambitions, and when we also, I mean, that it's also like, you know, the dog's dinner, basically. These are common pitfalls. It's just scattered everywhere. You know, you cannot pick any pinpoints to say this is what we are doing at this time, or this is how we're going to go from point A to B. You know, so it is very important that, you know, focus is key. But also, as we were doing the presentation, I was trying to do some research online too, and I saw that also over focus can be a problem. So if you focus too much on a particular task, for instance, and then forgetting that you have other tasks at hand, you could also run into a problem, or maybe focus so much on a project or a particular thing within that strategic plan. So it's very important for us to also understand that even as much as we want to focus, we have to ensure that our focus is well lined out, finely balanced, like I said yesterday. Thank you. I'll stop there and give others the opportunity to speak. I can see someone's hand raised up already, and she's itching to contribute. So I would give Princess the opportunity to do so. Thank you, Princess. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. I wanted to say Lady Samira for that beautiful, actually, it was doctor that was in my brain. I'm supposed to say Dr. Samira for that very illuminating presentation. Interestingly, I was thinking that all the professionals who have been using PowerPoint, who are very good with visuals, will not come with visuals at this point because, we had agreed that we can present our chapters in a way that, it so befits us. But Samira, being a professional coach, decided to keep true to her profession. And she came with very brilliant, relaxing presentation. The tone, the color of the presentation was top-notch. So Samira, thank you. Even the picture choice was top-notch. Even though I'm on the move, I can still relate to your presentation. I can still look at your visual. And I was still very much focused, if I have to use the word for the day, right? While you were presenting, I was thinking and reflecting back to our personal goals. When we set our personal goals, and even as organization, sometimes I think just thinking aloud generally, I shared the same thought with Saulu Atoyin, but let me put it in a different way. It's interesting because you cannot really over-focus. What do I mean by over-focus? Like picking one priority at a time. I don't know if that makes sense. Life does not give you that choices. So I personally don't like multitasking. But as I get, as I get higher in my leadership role, I've realized that I cannot narrow myself down. I cannot niche down to say, oh, I'm going to do only one thing for this particular time period, right? Because I used to argue with my then immediate boss that I would prefer to do something for a particular time and then move to, scale up to another thing, as time permits. And she says, no, as a leader, you're supposed to be able to handle multiple responsibility at the same time. Life throws you so much that you have to keep going. You have to keep juggling multiple balls. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone in the room. You have to keep, even when you say you have one, my focus is, you cannot even say my focus is my child or the children. The children have different dynamics. So even if your focus is the children alone, let's say you have 3, they have different dynamics, different temperament, different personality. You have to keep juggling the ball to see how you can, and they have different aspirations and goals. So you can imagine, even just with one particular goal to ensure that your children get to the next phase, you are juggling balls. So if that is the case for our personal goals and for our organizational goals, you really need to know how to niche down, and not too thin, but niche down such that you are able to apply certain tools, strategic tools that can help you achieve much more. And one of those tools for me that I've found in recent times is the Pareto model. You know, I think we're all familiar with the 80-20 rule, right? So you niche down such that your effort, which is 20%, can yield 80% result in different areas. We also use the wheel of life when we're setting our goals. We're niching down into 8 main priorities, right? Not necessarily a lot, not necessarily to-do list, but even with the 8 priorities that we're niching down to, we have to look at the area in which the reward must be optimized. And I think that is what this particular topic focus should be about and is about. I may not be able to capture the word for word. I cannot see my presentation at the moment. So Samira, I cannot see your. But I may not be able to capture word for word, but those are my key takeaway, and that is my reflection for tonight. To be able to look at areas in which, when you focus, you can actually optimize results. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Having said
Yes.
that, let me also thank Tutu. I was in and out of the presentation yesterday, and I was also it was also inspirational for me to see her use her presentation. You know, the first time Tutu presented, you know, I was listening to her late DJ voice and all of that. And I was wondering what it would look like if we have visuals with the presentation. And so to see her come with a presentation so much ready, so eager to present, I was like, interesting. So Tutu, thank you very much for your presentation yesterday. It was wonderful as usual. And I love how you summarized your presentation like a top-notch executive. I wanted to comment, but my environment was very, very noisy. You know, those key takeaway, you made us think, you made us reflect, you gave us something to take home with, you know, and I think I will steal that from you. So thank you very much. Samira, of course, take your flowers, my love. Take your flowers. Our coach, our timekeeper. My hat. I'm not wearing a hat, but I remove my hat for you, my darling.
I
Lady
think she
Mvosa,
picked the
good
past
evening.
one today.
And the rest of the boardroom members, good evening. And that's my contribution. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Princess. Always a valuable contribution from yourself. I said I was just trying to say that our coach, our timekeeper, played a fast one on the other presenters. That's why they didn't show, so she can have more time, and we can also have more time to speak about our presentation. So well done.
I agree.
Well done for your voodoo. Okay. So I think I'll just go around the house. I don't know if Lady Mvosa is able to speak from where she is. If not, I would allow Lady Sarah to just say anything that comes to mind. I'm not sure at what point you joined the presentation, but if you're welcome to say a word or two to presenter for the day. Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much. First of all, I'm really upset that I joined when her presentation was ending, so I only saw like bits and pieces of it. I wish she could be kind enough to share the presentation with me. I would love to go through it, really. I was caught up at work, yes, and because I promised to join meetings, I said even if it's the closing prayer.
It's okay. We are glad to have you.
Yes, I will try and join, even if it's the closing prayer. So yes, thank you very much, Coach Ramatu, and every other person that has made and continue to make this book reviews an interesting one.
Thank you so much. This is Coach Samira. Coach Ramatu.
Okay, sorry, Coach Samira.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm mixing the two.
Yeah, so I mean you were quite early because you will have caught up with the last two presenters if we had followed our normal routine plan for but unfortunately one person is down, the other person is in a meeting, so we couldn't have that opportunity to have them. But like I said, we would reschedule their chapters for next week. And so which means we have chapter 11 coming up next on Monday. So we'll just do some talk. We'll just toss it around a bit. Okay, so thank you so much, Ramatu. I mean, did I just call you Ramatu now? Saratu, for your kind words and for your comments. Okay, I don't know. So I'm not sure Lady Musa is able to speak because she hasn't responded yet. And I think she's the only other person we have online. Yes, Princess, I still saw your hand up. I think it's taken down now. I wanted to ask you if that was a legacy and or if you had raised it again.
No, it was previously up, so I wanted to lower it down. But I mean, I think you already said it. Samira played the first one on everybody today. So because of my schedule, I almost wanted to cancel. And then I now look at the board and notice that it was Samira who was presenting and Dr. Morayo, because I already got a notification that CJ was not going to be able to make it. He already sent that to me. But even I was very busy today. And I wanted to cancel, but when I saw Samira and I saw Dr. Morayo, I said, nah, impossible, impossible. So it was just a couple of, minutes ago that Dr. Morayo sent a message to say, oh, she's really very sorry that she's not feeling too well and she will not be able to present. So.
And that's quite unusual.
The show must go on, which is cool.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. So I'll just revert to our speaker for the day, Coach Samira, to give us a final words on the presentation, which is on focus, chapter 10 of the book, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. Thank you so much. Samira, over to you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And Mr. Tom, by the way, while I was doing this slide, I was thinking, okay, is this picture going to be... you and Princess always came to my...
No, it was really lovely. I must say, it was a lovely slide deck you had there.
Thank you.
Well done.
So I think I'll just close with that quote. Let me read it out again. So the shorter version I usually use is energy flows in the direction of focus. So, but this one by Tony Robbins on the slide I used is where focus goes, energy flows. And if you don't take the time to focus on what matters, so there's an emphasis on what matters here, then you're living a life of someone else's design. So basically, yes, what he's saying is if you do not have a direction, you do not have a focus, then you're probably living on autopilot, or your organization is on autopilot, which is anything comes and anything goes. And yes, you don't focus too much on one particular thing, life happens, because definitely you'll be destabilized if you just say, okay, this is the only thing I'm focusing on. And then because you can't predict what might happen, anything that comes to disrupt your focus or to distract you will actually put you in an overwhelm or just on a disoriented phase, either as an organization. So it's good to know where you're focusing on. Based on those examples, if you still go back to them, you see that their focus is just not one thing, but is what they want to deliver. So they have other ways of focusing on it, but they have what they want to deliver. So what they want to deliver is actually the focus. So, but on a personal level, like Princess said, you cannot say, okay, I'm niching down to just one thing, or I'm just focusing on one thing. The whole year, I'm focusing on this, and then that's it. So we should learn to also multitask on a personal level, because that would allow you to even have more efficiency when it comes to the organizational level. Thank you so much. I hope I have not confused anyone.
With these few words of mine, I hope I have
Yeah.
not. Oh, no. I was like, Princess didn't mince words when she said when she was going to call you a doctor earlier on. So because you've just lectured us. Yeah. So I think it's all it all starts from within, basically. As business leaders, when we look
Lady
at
Evosa is here. Lady
yeah,
Evosa is here
I can
live
see.
and direct.
I can see her.
She didn't want to raise her hand. She wanted to show her face.
Yeah, maybe I would allow her to speak right after I just make my comment. Yes, welcome, Lady Obosa. So I was trying to say, it all starts from within as leaders, as leaders of organizations, of various entities, departments. It's it is, in the last book we learned about mindfulness, and it all starts from being mindful, understanding, our niche in terms of what we want to achieve, understanding our terrain, understanding our environment, the people we work with, and when we are building that strategy, how does it affect everyone around us? How do we ensure that, our strategy affects the world positively? How do we ensure that our strategy helps to build the organization, helps to impact positively on the organization? We're talking about bottom line. In every organization, business organization, you talk about bottom line. Money comes first, and that's why humans are looked at as numbers, basically, in organizations. So, in fact, everything is looked at as numbers. Money, humans, everybody is all about the numbers. But when we are mindful as leaders, when we understand, that we want to create a difference, we want to make lives impacted positively. When we're creating our strategy, our focus will also be on bettering the lives of people around us, not just making sure that we make profitable returns in terms of money. We ensure that I'm just trying to ensure that we bring it all together from our past learning. This is just another angle to look at it from, to understand that we have to be mindful when creating strategies. Our strategies should not impact negatively on people's lives, on people that work with us. Thank you very much. Okay, so I will give Lady Obosa the floor. Thank you, ma.
Good evening,
Good
Uncle
evening, ma.
Tony, Princess Udwak, and our Coach Samira. Well done, and everybody. Sorry, every other person. I say good evening to you. I was actually driving, and I wanted to be focused so that my energy will go there. Yeah, your energy goes where your focus is. So I needed to be focused, and I stopped driving. I just drove in now, and I said I should just show my face and say hello. That was a beautiful presentation. Even though I didn't start from the beginning, I heard some part of it, and I'd also be happy. I think I was in the filling station at the time, and I saw some of our slides. That was a beautiful one, and very easy to read. So it would be nice, Coach Samira, if you could share your slides with us. We'll be honored. And well done, even though I couldn't give you your flowers, but it was a very, very great job. And I've learned what that focus is. Your energy goes where your focus is. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you so much, Lady Obosa, for that. Yeah, thank you. I still see Princess's hand up. I don't know if she's playing some tricks on me or if it's Princess, do you have a word for us before we call it a day? Okay.
Hello, Saoluwatoyin, did you call my name?
Yeah. Yes. I said I don't know if you're playing some tricks because I still see your hands up.
Oh, actually, it is.
Our hands
I
are
just
up.
wanted to quickly add something with regards to focus. I think
Okay.
the area of focus, and for me, the key takeaway will be playing true to your strength, right? Another word for what the quote that Samira just mentioned. So for a business, what is your competitive advantage? What is your leverage? Play true to that so that you can stand out. If you go into an area where it is not your strength, it's your weakness, you are not going to get the same results in the marketplace. And I think that is very critical. And that's my key takeaway. Play true to your strength as an individual, as an owner of an organization, know what your strengths are, what your competitive advantage is, and play true to it.
Absolutely correct. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have to ensure that, our focus is in the right direction. Is basically looking at, our strength areas, focused on our strength areas. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I think we have done well with time today, and our contributions have been quite valuable. It's always a relaxing time coming here for most of us after work, just unwinding for the day, learning something new, and helping us to become better leaders. So thank you so much. We always appreciate your time, never taking it for granted, for joining in. And I will just say in Princess's voice, good evening from wherever you are. I know some people are close to bedtime, probably at 10 p.m., 10 p.m.-ish. Some people are at probably 7, 8 p.m.-ish. And I'll just say have a good evening and see you next week. Thank you and God bless you.
Yeah, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.